Welcome to the Grand Review. This is the show that's all about movie news and reviews. I'm your host, the one who's here for the glory and the marketing opportunity. It's Garrett Ray, and joining me, as always, he may not have a mechanical arm, but you want to know about movies? The man's a machine. It's Andy Delia.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Welcome, everybody, to the show. If you've never joined us before, basically, here's how it works. We're going to do a spoiler-free review of this week's movie right up front. Then we'll jump into spoilers, but don't worry. We'll let you know when it's going to happen, and then we'll do the news after that, some movie news and other things. And then we'll also have a bunch of terrible tangents we go on that I refuse to edit out.
Yeah, that's my fault.
No, I'm talking, my tangents are terrible. You have interesting film history to share.
Yeah, that nobody cares about except you and me.
That's who we make the show for, Andy.
That works. Sounds like we're getting paid for this.
Yeah, not yet. But, if you want to pay for the show, there's an alley right downtown Belton. You can meet me there about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm normally doing a little... Look, I was on meth at some point. But the point is now I just go there for the memories. Well, basically, that's the whole show. That's how it works. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on our social medias at Grand Review Pod on Facebook and Instagram. And I will actually be posting on that moving forward because things got a little crazy there. But I forgot to post the last two this last week when they finally went up. So I'll fix it. I'll fix it. It'll be fine. This week we are talking about the newest release coming straight out of the House of Mouse. Very excited about the opportunity to talk about this one.
Yeah.
That's right. We saw Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith in theaters. It was
on different nights.
On different nights. We unfortunately couldn't make it work to go together, but it was everything that the 9-year-old in me remembered it being and so much more.
I thought it was, Jessica, we watched it and Jessica was like, I don't think I've ever seen that. And I was like, well, Jessica, if you actually did, would you remember?
I remembered because I caught myself several times out loud quoting along with the characters and was like, shut up, Garrett, you're in public.
I can remember, like, I went to a 10 o'clock show the Thursday night that it opened, Distinta Theaters in North Versailles, which is a suburb of Pittsburgh. Because it was one of the nicest theaters. And I think it was like the first internet ticket that I ever bought.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was for Episode 3 because I was really looking forward to that. Look,
if you're not in the mood for a space opera, soap opera, it's bad. But if you are in the mood for that, and I so very much was, it hits so hard.
Or one of the weirdest, like, space opera, that whole scene with the Chancellor and Anakin in that box.
I love that scene.
I do like that scene, but, like, hearing people randomly clap to,
yeah, but you're not looking at the people doing the anti-gravity stuff. I think that's what's happening back there. It could be giant space worms. I don't know.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Anyway, let's look back around to Star Wars because I do want to talk about it again. But let's do what we just said we would do in the opening. We're talking about Thunderbolts. Here's the spoiler-free section, safe to listen to. Basically, we start with Andy's thoughts because he's smarter than me. Andy, your thoughts on Thunderbolts?
It was good. I liked it. I liked the whole dark side of the human psyche thing that the film explores. I like, of course, Florence Pugh in tight outfits for 2 hours, which is definitely... Because even I had you laughing hysterically at the beginning.
I know. She was like, I'm not okay. And you were like, not from where I'm sitting. I was like, Andy, we're in public. Say it louder so people can laugh with me.
No, I like her as an actress. Definitely like looking at her. And
Jessica, I'm sorry. I've tried to stop him.
Yeah, I know.
He's incorrigible.
But I thought the story was good. But I seem to be the only person that liked Brave New World, too, from Captain America. I thought that was good. So I don't know if I'm going to have the unpopular opinion on this or not. But
the more I've thought about Brave New World, the more I think it's a boilerplate, boring movie.
See, I just like the whole Manchurian Candidate.
I like that idea. I think it's boringly done and never explained in a way that's satisfying at all. Like they're just like, oh, he can do the thing, just like with the Winter Soldier thing. I'm like, this is a way bigger threat than you're making it out to be. This is way more dangerous than it's being used for. And also, this is mostly just the Winter Soldier again. But done in a way that's not interesting as much.
I didn't think it was uninteresting.
Like it's fine, but it's not.
I think I seem to want to like it too, just because everybody hated it.
Maybe so. I mean, you are contrarian, but I think the thing about it is that it's like, I don't know. It just feels like a product. You know what I mean? Like Brave New World felt like, and here's another installment in the Marvel universe that's been made to hit these marks and move on with our lives. And maybe that's just because Harrison Ford doesn't want to be there, but he doesn't want to be anywhere.
No, other than like making another Indiana Jones film in a walker, which that better not happen.
They'll just CGI out the walker.
Yeah, but outside of Florence Pugh too, I do David Harbour. I just find so amusing in this character, and this film is no exception to that. I like the other supporting people. I like Sebastian Stan as Bucky. Yeah. I normally don't like Julia Louis-Dreyfus a whole lot because I think she whines more than anything, and it's just hard to like. Seinfeld was the top of her, game.
Although she won was it an Emmy for Veep?
Yeah, but I never watched that.
I started to watch it, and then about 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, right, this is about politics. This is going to be absolutely insufferable, preachy stuff. And it was.
But her is like kind of the villainous or in this, she was actually pretty good.
I was surprised. Yeah. I was like, holy crap. Could Julia Louis-Dreyfus do stuff that is actually fun to watch?
I mean, is it an awesomely fantastic film? No, but it's a good popcorn enjoyable movie. Okay. It's not boring, or at least I didn't think it was. Mm-hmm. So I definitely, I thought it was good.
Okay, so good, bad, great, or terrible.
Good.
You're in the firm good camp.
Yep.
I have a sneaking suspicion that I just watched an actual movie. Which was weird because I really thought, like, the trailers, I was like, this looks fun and interesting. And then I was like, but it's going to be another Marvel thing. And there has been so many misfires. I don't know if they can pull it off.
Yeah.
But for me, this totally worked.
And that's like, we had an option to put it on two screens here this way. I decided to only go with the one just because Brave New World did okay, not great. Yeah. And it gave me room to bring in the small independent Nicolas Cage's the Surfer, which I hope actually does some business. I don't know. But the advanced ticket sales for this are pretty strong.
Yeah, I saw some people are expecting or projecting a 125 million kind of opening weekend, which is not bad. It's not bad for an opening week, especially. And even if it drops off the next weekend, that's still $75 million. Right. Well, no, not 75, like 65.
The biggest question is, what's Sinners going to do this weekend in the third week?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Sinners had what was it, like only a 30% drop off?
6% drop.
Whoa!
And for us, it went up 30%.
That's insane.
Because I had it in a medium to large size theater. I moved it to a smaller theater the second week, and we ended up like packing out for that thing. Yeah. To the point that I moved it back to this same theater I had it initially because. Accounting to the second week, that definitely will drop off by about 50%.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for Sinners to still have a good head of steam and make it a good. It was our number one movie last week.
That's crazy.
Sinners.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it deserves it. It's a really good movie.
It does.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this one just. I was so surprised how much I felt like I was watching a movie that cared about the characters more than the plot
and the psychology of the characters too.
Right. And I think there's maybe an argument you could make that, and we can get into this more in spoilers, that it's like almost kind of, film school level, like understanding of those topics, but also it's a Marvel movie. There is kind of a expectation that there's certain things you can't get into.
Right.
But they do mention meth, which is why I said what I said earlier. I was not actually ever on meth. But, they mention addiction and all these, the mental health issues and stuff. And I feel like this is way more character-driven than we've seen in a Marvel movie in a very long time.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
And I enjoyed that aspect of it, even if it's kind of a little predictable or whatever. Like, the performances sell the parts that really need to work. I mean, Florence Pugh as Yelena really is carrying this. David Harbour is bringing so much lightheartedness, but also the heart that he's very good at. I mean, and it kind of makes me want to just go watch that Hellboy movie he was in just to see if he's good in that too.
I've been more curious about that lately too. It's funny that you mentioned that, because knowing that he's in that, and I know it was really panned and dissed like hard, especially Mila Jovovich is the
witch,
evil person in that, and that just makes me roll my eyes immediately. But I'm actually, I think, more willing to give it a chance and have low expectations that I might come out of that going, this isn't horrible.
Just
but
like, even if the movie's bad, David Harbour's still probably fun to watch,
right?
You know.
But I like Guillermo del Toro's the two that
they're
he
very
did.
good.
Especially The Golden Army. I really, really like
it's
that
really
one.
good. Like my favorite thing is where he's in the marketplace in there and he goes up and talks to someone and he's like, nice baby. And it's like, I'm not a baby.
Yeah.
I'm a tumor. It's just always has cracked me up.
There were still rumors that Ron Perlman was going to come back and do that character again for another one.
Yeah, I think there's just no way at this point because they've gone through David Harbour. That one crashed and burned. Then they did one called The Crooked Man more recently with a different
which
person.
is on streaming now, and I kind of want to watch it, but
I kind of do too.
And I can definitely tell, like, Golden Army too has a lot of stuff left over from Pan's Labyrinth that Guillermo del Toro just didn't get to use.
Oh, absolutely. It was just like, I still got these things sitting in my closet. They freak me out every night. Just put them in the movie.
We worked well.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this movie, kind of the plot of it is basically Yelena is feeling lost, and then she's working for Valentina de Fontaine, who has been kind of a minor player in some other Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And maybe I missed something in the series or whatever.
She was in one of the secret scenes is where she really popped up, but I just don't remember which film.
Well, I think she showed up momentarily in, I want to say it was Doctor Strange 2. But she's
You're probably right about that.
She's popped up in a couple different places, and I thought, like, well, she's got to be a bigger deal than this, and now but it feels like it took forever to get there,
right?
You know, and maybe I never saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't know if she has a part in that.
I don't remember her being in that.
Okay,
and I really don't think she's in Quantumania too. I don't remember her from that, although I don't remember much about that film.
Yeah,
at all.
I didn't watch She-Hulk. I didn't watch.
I
haven't seen the Daredevil series, so like I don't know where else she's
not in the
popping
Daredevil
up.
series. I know that.
Okay, but I enjoyed her as the villain, kind of pulling the strings behind the scene, and thought she was wonderfully devilish, if you will,
and how everything backfires on her too.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
And you have in this movie, you've got Ghost, who was. Look, I don't like Ant-Man 2 at all. I really didn't like that movie, and she's boring in that, and she's kind of, neither here nor there. It's not a bad performance or anything like that. I just think her character doesn't have
fits
much.
Well. It fits better in this film.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you've got Taskmaster, who was a bigger part of the Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
And then you have John Walker, who is just insufferable. I hate him so much. And he's such a jerk. And then you have the addition of the Red Guardian, David Harbour, who, once he's in the movie, it just brightens the whole thing up. Yeah. And Bob, who was played by a man named Lewis Pullman, who was Bill Pullman's son. And boy, howdy, once I read that, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it looks exactly like
So I was
him.
like, I don't think I've ever seen this guy before, but I know his face somehow.
Yeah, so we were talking about that, waiting for the secret scene. Like, how many films? Wait, he was in that? He was in that? What?
Yeah. But yeah, I think Bob is a great part of this movie. I think the performance is really good. Like I like him a lot from the first moment. Like he kind of ingratiates himself with the audience,
and he has the heaviest role.
He does, yeah.
For what he has to do,
yeah. And I do think there's a mix of really good visuals and also one scene where everything's really rubbery, and I don't necessarily know if there's a way to fix that. We can get into that more in spoilers, but
okay,
it's kind of a mixed bags from the VFX standpoint, because there's some stuff that I can't say what it is without spoiling the movie, but it looks so good and so like threatening, and it's really, really well done. And then there's other stuff where it's like, oh, this car flipped over, and you see real car flips earlier, but then this one gets blocked by a super person, and it's like, yeah, I can kind of see that's a 3D model there. That didn't look very convincing there.
See, but I thought the effects in this were better than Deadpool Wolverine. In some
depends
aspects.
on the moment, yeah, and like not every shot gets the same amount of attention depending on its importance and stuff. But in a movie where you do a real car flip, when you do the fake one, we can tell.
Yeah.
So, but those real car flips, and those are in the trailer. They look so good, because they flipped the car. It's really fun. It does have a little bit of the the Marvel dialogue curse of everyone has to be the smart wisecracking guy. But there are times where it's just like it can be fun when it's done well. And I think it's balanced here. It's not too heavy on that.
No, I don't think so.
And you believe it because the characters are all like, they're masking their pain with this stuff. So. But yeah, overall, I think it's a solid movie. And like I said, weirdly, I sat there feeling like I wasn't watching a Marvel product. I was watching a movie about people. And that was a refreshing change of pace because I did not feel that way at all in Captain America. I was just like...
Yeah, I guess I would kind of agree with that too. Also, once again, what you like to see in films too, that sense of family and camaraderie among characters that are thrown together that should not like each other or even be in the same room together.
Yes. I love camaraderie. And I love it.
Yeah, and they kind of overcome that, and it's pretty cool to see all that.
Yeah. It was like it covers some really dark subject matter.
Yeah,
but was encouraging and uplifting by the end.
But not to the point that it's going to be off-putting to kids or early teens that are going to really want to see this.
There is one moment that got an actual audible gasp of horror out of me, though.
Oh, I know what that was.
I was like, no, oh!
Yeah.
Like, hand went up to my mouth, like, I can't believe I just saw that. And
I was surprised at that myself.
It really got me. It was effective. Yeah. And so, yeah, good. I'm going to give it a good. Look, I was teetering on great for a second just because the bar has been so low for Marvel movies. And I do think that, like, good doesn't quite cover my feelings about it because, and I don't know how else to put it. Maybe this is because I'm weak as a reviewer, but I went into the movie expecting popcorn flick kind of thing and got more than that and felt like there was a heart to the film. Right. And I appreciated that very, very much.
But is everybody else going to appreciate that is the question?
Oh, no, people are stupid. They're going to be like, why did you have to be so sad the whole time?
So I would say for you, it's a good +1 that you can't give it a great, but it's definitely a little bit higher than a good.
Yeah, it's like, I think to say great would be hyperbolic because it is doing some of the same Marvel stuff that you can expect.
Yeah.
That one VFX thing that should look really cool and is just kind of rubbery. I'm like, I don't buy it. So there's some things in there, but I do definitely think that it deserves more credit than Captain America: Brave New World for me.
Okay.
But also the director of this, Jake Schreier. Jason Schreier is a reporter who works in the video game sphere.
Okay.
The whole other thing. But Jake Schreier, he's done a lot of music videos for like Chance the Rapper, Benny Blanco, Kanye West. But this guy, he got hired for the job. Don't blame him for Kanye stuff.
I know he's got rent to pay.
But this guy did he also directed a movie that I love called Robot and Frank.
Oh, the Frank Langella. Yes.
It's fantastic.
It went very much under the radar. Not a lot of people saw that.
I didn't see it until last year, but I had always wanted to.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's so good. And this has some of those same feelings to it.
Yeah.
I think he was
the right person to put in charge of this.
Yeah. And I also think that Marvel has a reputation for doing, we bring in the director, but we also have our machine that does the fight scenes and all that stuff. And so I don't know how deeply he's involved with those things. But I do think that there are moments where, you believe the camaraderie. And I think that does come down to the direction and letting people talk. And I just think that there's
because there is more dialogue and character interaction in this than fighting, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's so much stronger for it.
Yeah,
I think this does a better job at building a team than the Avengers did. Genuinely,
in some aspects,
yeah,
because they more had a common goal where this is Marvel's almost answer to Suicide Squad.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, James Gunn was interested in doing a Thunderbolts movie while he was working on Guardians of the Galaxy, but then went and directed the Suicide Squad and said, all right, well, I've done what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So he, didn't come back to do this. But yeah, it's a solid good. And if you've been wanting a Marvel movie to not just be another piece of slop on your plate, just, have some slop. It's good with salt. I think this
come
is
get
it.
your dinner.
Gosh. I really hate that movie. I don't get it.
I do like that movie. I really do.
I can't.
But yet I hate Minecraft.
Yeah, well, very different ideas.
Same director, though.
Yeah, but we all make mistakes.
It's okay.
Hannah Montana said it the best, I think.
Whatever.
Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. I got to work it again and again till I get it right.
Like a wrecking ball?
No. That was very specifically not Hannah Montana.
Yeah,
okay, that was how she killed Hannah Montana.
But yeah, we had G-Force integrated in this film too.
Yes, there was a G-Force. In my heart, this is an unofficial, or this is an official, unofficial sort of acknowledgement of Disney's greatest film that they've ever made, G-Force.
The second time I had you laughing really hard in this film too. We're like, look, it's G-Force.
It's not much of a spoiler. Yelena, she saves a guinea pig from a lab explosion, which is also, oh my gosh, that's a metaphor for the rest of the movie. Anyway, so you want to get into spoilers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do spoilers. Bob is all powerful and crazy and
Sentry.
He's called the Sentry, but then he turns into the Void.
Yeah.
And this was so well done visually. The fact that he's just, there's no light, there's no dimension to him.
And all
just
you
have
see
the
are the eyes.
It's such a creepy effect. And the when someone gets taken into the shadow realm or whatever it is, into the void, and they just boom.
Yeah.
Like that visual effect is so effective. I loved that so much because I was like, from the concept to the execution, the way it like almost it doesn't splatter out from where the person is standing. It
casts
gets
a shadow.
cast out.
It casts a long shadow.
Right, but it also has a momentum to it.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like, boop, there's a shadow. It has this like this finality feeling to it, which you find out that it's not. They're taken into this other realm where they're tortured by the worst moments of their life.
Right.
But it's so effective, and the moment that I know made me gasp was the Red Guardian runs over and he saves a little girl from being crushed, by this giant piece of concrete.
Cement
and he goes,
slab.
"You're safe, little one," and then she gets boom right in front of him, and the silence in the theater.
Well, because the whole thing of that is you really don't see, especially in these films, like kids get hurt, or anything like that, and it really went against that, and it was actually kind of refreshing to see that.
And you don't know. Now, hold on.
It was something that you were not expecting, and I give him credit for doing it.
Yeah,
Let's put it that way.
And like, I was terrified for a moment because I was like, "Are we crossing this threshold now in Marvel movies where we're just killing kids?" Because that's like, that's a step, even for me, who has written several things where children die. It's like, it's terrible, you know, and I'm not going to say they chicken out, but they do. There's a way back for her, so they don't really kill her, but in that moment, you don't know,
right?
You don't know if she's dead, and it really, like, this is an unfeeling threat.
Yeah,
it does not care. Void is a void. There's nothing. Nothing of Bob's humanity left. And so, having him kind of become this thing.
So then the whole thing where the Thunderbolts have to rescue him from himself is kind of where the movie goes.
Like a guinea pig from a lab experiment? I'm just saying, if they had the guinea pig there, they would have solved this much faster. Because he could have been in a little technological hamster ball.
I thought it would have been funny if it said something like, hi, and it was Sam Rockwell's voice.
He just walks in. He's like, "Hey, how's it going? I have to dance because that's what I do in movies now. I'm gonna dance." Anyway, have you seen my friend Nicolas Cage? He's a mole. Have you seen that? It's pretty cool. I like that. I like that this whole movie is kind of based around Yelena trying to find a reason to live. Right. But she doesn't until she realizes that helping people is the motivation for doing anything is to be in service to others, and to have that, charged to her by the Red Guardian at the beginning of the movie, and seeing how that comes to fruition. But she doesn't just accept it; she has to work through it.
And she's still trying to deal with the death of Natasha, and all that stuff from the Black Widow film. And so this is supposed to take place a year after Black Widow did. Good question. Because she has that line of dialogue with David Harbour is like, I haven't seen you in over a year. I think
because I lost my sister, but this time forever.
That's where I'm assuming the timeline was.
And it's such a, like, the moment where she breaks down and has that conversation with the Red Guardian is so it's a real movie moment. Like, it's an actual character, not a caricature. And it works. And Florence Pugh sells it, and David Harbour's response is, like, he says, "I don't know how to do this. I thought you didn't want me." And she said, I did. And he goes, "I see that. And I'm late, but I'm here now." And it's like, it's this man who doesn't know how to do what he's trying to do, trying really hard.
I'm trying to be a dad.
Yeah.
And still trying to help his daughter, even, she's older and with the loss and everything in the family.
Yeah. And trying not to make it worse, but failing in that, but then still being family, And I really enjoyed that conversation, and I enjoyed the fact that they couldn't beat this threat by fighting.
They had to go a little bit different route.
Yeah, like there's a lot of action, throughout the movie. There's good fights. There's that opening scene where it's all from the top and Yelena's just murking guys in the hallway, and it's a lot of shadow work and stuff. Like, that all looks really good.
Well, but it's almost, no pun intended, foreshadowing to what the rest of the film is.
She's in a void, basically, and all these guys just look like shadows that she's leaving behind. Right. Yeah, all of that stuff is like it's visually telling the story. Yeah, it's not just shot reverse shot. Like, and I know there are other Marvel movies that do that too. I'm not saying that that's just something that this whole franchise has been devoid of. But there is if you compare this to Thor: The Dark World, like, Thor: The Dark World is a movie to tell the plot that it needs to tell to get us to the next thing. Mm-hmm. This is...
I still like the second Thor film, though.
It's all right, but it's like, it's standard.
It's better than Love and Thunder, though.
We don't have to go there.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, Love and Thunder is it's
a mess.
You had Christian Bale doing a great performance for a character they did nothing with.
And I so wanted to defend Taika Waititi for that too, just because I like him as a filmmaker.
Sure,
I have no defense for him for that.
I'm sorry, but he was trying to get fired from Marvel so he could move on with his life. That was his goal.
And be the bad guy in Free Guy, which he's awesome.
He is, yeah. I would love to see him playing a bad guy more often. He seems like he really enjoys chewing scenery.
He played Hitler.
That's true.
The ultimate bad guy.
That's true. Well, is it the ultimate bad guy, or is I don't know his name, but some executive
the guy at Netflix?
No, some executive at Disney did not greenlight G-Force 2, and I think that is the worst sin that's ever been committed.
I was going to say that the thing where you actually had to bleep me last week about Netflix, because I just couldn't contain myself.
The wrong half of the word.
Oh, I didn't go back and listen to it.
I went back and fixed it, but I left it the part about me going, I bleeped the wrong half.
I just felt so strongly about that. I couldn't contain and I really do good at restraining myself and keeping my language PG. And it was
I opened the door for it, though. I had my finger on the button. I was like, let's just do it.
You just saw the smoke coming out of my ears as you were saying that, because I had read the article earlier in the week, and I was just being revisited by that again, and I was just getting so mad.
I kept a hand on my laptop because I wasn't sure if you were going to grab it and throw it against the wall or not.
I'm not going to damage your own property. I don't do that.
I'm just saying, Ted Sarandos' face was on the computer, so I thought maybe you'd just see red and lose it.
Okay.
Oh, boy. If you hear a vacuum cleaner, just by the way, that is one of the wonderful employees at Grand Avenue Theater doing their nightly cleaning, keeping this place clean, courteous, and classy for you. Go to grandavenuetheater.com to get tickets and come see a movie here. It's the best place in the world.
Yep, if you're in Belton, Texas.
No, it's the best place in the world, even if you're not in Belton, Texas. Okay. Get in the car and drive. I don't care if you have to go through Oklahoma. I know it's flat.
We are the best entertainment value.
Oh, absolutely. And the food is good.
Yeah.
And this is not a shameless plug. I'm just saying things I like. I'm being honest. It's good.
I'm the one that works here, and I don't plug it that much.
I know, but the thing is, part of doing this show is to say what is true about things, about what we're reviewing. And we had to review the movie-going experience, and because we don't venture outside of these hallowed halls very much, it's always good.
We're going to this summer, though, because I'm already committed to F1. We're going to watch it in IMAX.
Yeah, and it will regrettably not be here, but, we'll hopefully
we're going to play the film. We're just, I want the full experience for that. Like, in fact, I'm hoping it's in D-Box, because I'd be willing to pay that extra money.
I think that might be fun for that movie. Yeah. Like, to feel like you're kind of experiencing the rumbling of the car and stuff. I think that'd be good. Wait, do they do the smell things? Could we smell burnt rubber?
No, I'm not. That's 4XD. I'm not doing that.
I'll bring my own.
I remember
I'll bring the tire and light it on fire.
I remember the movie Rush that I was running a theater that had D-Box, and Drew was a baby at the time, and I was watching that with him, and the rumbling of the seat, like when the car is revved up, and it was great.
I just imagine, like, how old a baby was Drew?
He was 6 months to a year.
Okay, so if the car had gone around a turn fast enough and the seat had responded, it could have made him throw up.
Well, Drew's first D-Box experience was Infinity Wars.
Oh, really?
And so we did the 3D and the D-Box for that, and the poor kid, he got so comfortable he fell asleep.
Oh, no.
Right before the final battle scene in Infinity Wars. And I just remember reaching over and turning down the seat so it wouldn't move. And he's fast asleep.
I wonder if there's a way to remove the protections that keep it from throwing you out. And if I can do that to your seat before you sit down. Oh, never mind. So let's loop back around to the movie real quick, just so we can talk about this. So Dave Fontaine's whole plan is to get Bob, who she's been running all these secret experiments behind the scenes, trying to create her own super person. And
by the way, she was going to incinerate him at the beginning of the
because she thought he was dead.
Film,
yeah,
right.
It wouldn't have worked. I don't think.
No, it wouldn't have because he's indestructible.
Right. And the question is he indestructible when he's not awake to be indestructible? Because I think all of his blocking stuff was him doing that actively. Because all of the Thunderbolts attack him at what used to be the Avengers Tower. It's now just called the Watchtower.
The Watchtower. Right.
And they all attack him, but you can kind of see there's this force field around him. But that force field, I think he's actively generating it. It's not just there.
Right.
So if he's asleep, Could you get away with like?
I would say there's that whole thing of self-preservation too, where it would just instinctively kick in.
Maybe, but like when you're asleep, you can grab someone's hand and put it in a warm bowl, right? And they'll pee themselves. Could you do that to the sentry? That's all I want to know. If he's really asleep, can you make him pee his own pants? Because if you can, then you also probably could get a knife into his jugular. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying. You do the first one because it's like, haha, harmless prank. Sorry, Bob. See you later. And then if it doesn't work and he wakes up and, force fields your hand off of him or whatever and throws you through a wall, you just go, ooh, glad I didn't try that with a knife.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying test the waters first. You got to do recon.
Another good supporting cast member in this, the guy that's heading up the impeachment against Julia Louis-Dreyfus. He was in Suits, so the TV show Suits, and I love that actor.
He shows up in a bunch of different stuff. He's so funny. I love him so much. I was surprised he
wasn't in Sinners.
Yeah, why wasn't he?
Right.
Maybe because he was filming this. Wendell Pierce. Every time he shows up in something, I chuckle.
Even Hackers.
It's so funny.
Like, I know everybody bashes Hackers a lot for being a bad movie, but
Hack the Planet.
I like that film. That film was fun to me.
I've not seen it, but I've seen clips of it and stuff, and I'm like, this is peak 90s.
Because that was Angelina Jolie's breakthrough movie. Was that
crazy, isn't it?
Johnny Lee Miller, who I've always liked too, that was the show Elemental. Mm-hmm. Yep. He was Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, and then Matthew Lillard in there too. Yeah,
which he's supposed to be coming back in the next Scream.
That is what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't put much faith in this.
You know what? All I'll say is this: I don't care one way or the other.
I have better luck for him being in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 than I do the next Scream film.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he's getting a paycheck, and after getting shamed for being Shaggy, I think it's only fair.
I was going to say, is that the question? Is there going to be another Scooby-Doo film with him?
God, I hope so. And I know the original plan for those movies was for them to be R-rated, and that was why there's some holdovers of that stuff that they really toned down, but you can still see it's in there. But write it as an R-rated film. Let James Gunn write it R-rated, and then go in and edit it down to a PG again, because I think that's hilarious.
The one that I know has an R-rated cut out there somewhere, and I would love to see it at some point, is the first Hoodwinked film. Hoodwinked was originally an R-rated film, and they trimmed it down and made it PG for kids, but it's still such a clever film.
It is. It's a good whodunit.
And even the movie references in that are just fantastic.
Yeah.
And I so want to see the R-rated version of that.
I would love to see that, because Schnitzel, there's probably a lot you can do with that. And then, I just love the goat, And avalanche is coming down. I do not feel prepared. I was prepared.
Second one we won't talk about.
No, don't. No.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Did Hayden Panettiere replace...
she did.
Okay, yeah. She replaced... What is her name?
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway, that's right. Oh goodness, but yeah, Wendell Pierce is fantastic. He had me giggling. I love the kind of play between his character and Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character.
It worked.
And I think that honestly, what they did to Taskmaster is just straight up disrespectful.
I was one of the shocked.
She just gets shot in the head. She's there for 5 minutes.
Within the first,
Why? Why even bring her in?
I thought that was because, I thought that was going to be one of the main characters, too.
Yeah, they put her in a bunch of stuff, but there's also, you can see versions of the trailer where there's a shot where she's in it, and then there's another shot, the same shot in another trailer where she's not, and everyone's, off to the side, and I think that's where Bob is standing in the final movie.
So they had to keep that quiet.
Right, but why include her at all? If the whole thing is just, hey, we had this really tragic character who has been tortured by her own father, and used in this horrible, awful way. The really sad part of the Black Widow movie is her story.
Yeah.
And they bring her in, and it's oh, wow, we're going to see what happens to... Oh, she's dead.
Yeah. And it happens just like that.
Right. She just gets shot in the head. I'm like... Didn't she have an adamantium face mask or something? What is this?
My whole thing was, she can't be dead, right? And then the film keeps going.
And then she gets incinerated. And her face was already burnt. That was not cool. Like, of all the ways you could have killed her, why doesn't she get a good send-off? Who at Marvel has an out for that character and goes, this is the worst thing we've ever done? Explain She-Hulk. Why is she still around, but you kill Taskmaster?
Yeah, Kevin Feige, explain that to us, please.
Also, why, if Taskmaster... If she has super strength, because she throws John Walker across the room with a single hit, right?
Yeah, because
how did Black Widow take her on at all at any point in time? Why was she not more of a threat? And if she's more of a threat, she got super strength. Why did she get shot in the head? And if she gets shot in the head, why does she have a mask that's supposed to stop bullets? I thought that was a whole thing from the last one. I mean, she has a little shield, but I don't understand why they did this.
Thanks, Garrett.
You're welcome. Yeah, it was such a weird. I like just to have a surprise, I guess, to set the stakes. But I'm like,
well, my whole thing is why even bother having her in the film then?
Right? Yeah, I feel like they could have done something more interesting with her. But then at the same time, it's like, well, it would just be Yelena's story again, basically. But it just felt wrong. Like, if she died because she just had so many health complications or whatever, fine. Okay. She was not in good shape from all this stuff. Maybe she, or if she sacrificed herself, that would have been something, but she just gets shot in the head by John Walker.
Yeah. And along we go.
Also, calling him Junior Varsity Captain America is very funny. The insults in this movie are top notch,
and they're all aimed at him.
Yeah, I know. Deserved. He's an awful person. He sucks so hard. Like, his only redeeming quality is sometimes he hits the right person. That's it. That's all he does.
His shield is turned into a taco too.
I love the taco.
That was pretty awesome.
And that in the post-credit scene, he's also, he's complaining that bring the sentry out, make Bob use his strength and fix this.
Yeah.
I love that. Like I said, the fact that the only way to stop this threat was to be there for Bob, not beat him into oblivion or let him beat the void, because the void takes over when you allow it to, when you allow it to get a grip on your emotions. And that being the whole message of it is if you don't want to be in the void, you can't engage it.
Right.
You have to lean on the people that care about you, and you have to find that community. Yep. And I just think that's a good message.
Yeah.
Better than, all right, let's go to the cherry blossom tree so big red man thinks, oh, I have daughter, blah. Now I'm not big man no more. I'm small man.
You're still going to do that just because I said I like Brave New World?
No, it is legitimately because as I was thinking about Brave New World today, I was just like, God, I hope it's better than that, because I really wanted to like Brave New World and was really disappointed.
But it made reference to it as well.
Yeah, this makes reference to it.
Yeah.
And it's... that's fine. It's still interconnected and all that stuff. That's what we expect. But they brought it up and they're like, our last president turned into a big red man and was real angry and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, thank God I'm not watching that movie. I'm watching this one instead because it's better.
The second secret scene at the end of the movie links to the next Marvel film, which was cool.
So, and also kind of spoils the end of the Fantastic Four, because they have to get into an extra dimensional ship at the end of that movie to show up in this part of the timeline.
Oh, okay.
So, but I guess that's how Doctor Doom is going to come into this universe too. So,
right.
Interesting. I'm excited about the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a good one. And
in July.
I know that's going to completely overshadow this movie. And I hope it's really good. I hope it's fantastic. That actually wasn't on purpose, believe it or not.
Yes, it was. No, that's a lie.
I realized halfway through the word, I was like, oh, I am so good.
This is at least the first legitimate shot at that story that looks worth watching.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 2005 one is not good.
I never bothered with it. Everybody just
I grew
told
up
me
with them.
And I wanted to try just because, like I said, because I like the cast that's in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I just never got around to it.
The second movie is pretty bad, but the Silver Surfer is good in it.
Well, then somebody I know that works for the organization was complaining about how they made Silver Surfer a woman in this, and I was like,
I think there's a comic book precedent for it. Two, I honestly legitimately think that it was done the best it could be done with the male version of that character in that Rise of the Silver Surfer movie. The rest of the movie's garbage. Don't get me wrong. I am not praising Rise of the Silver Surfer.
I'm just saying
the actor did a great job portraying that character, and the VFX on that character for 2007. My gosh, he looks good.
I wonder out there who has the standee for that film, because the standee was the Silver Surfer perched and leaned over with the backdrop on it. And cool. Because I remember I really wanted to hear that I worked that, but there was where the heck was I going to put that thing? And it was massive. Just like when the Simpsons movie came out, certain theaters, the bigger ones, got a standee of the Simpsons on a couch.
Oh, really?
And it was heavy and legitimate, almost like Last Christmas with the Nosferatu coffins making the round in theaters.
Yeah.
This was the same thing.
That's cool.
They brought them in on forklifts to put the thing together.
Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah.
The couch gag this time was a forklift. Oh, goodness. But yeah, look, there's probably other stuff that I meant to bring up but have forgotten about now, even though we literally walked out of the theater
we just watched
back over here to
walk right into recording this. Yeah. But I think we've covered everything that needs to be covered.
It's a solid film, and the performances are good. And the VFX, the only thing that's really is the scene where you see the Sentry in his full glory for the first time, and he's beating all the Thunderbolts, and there's just enough stuff from that looks like it has no weight. That looks rubbery, and it's not all one shot, but a good portion of it is the camera kind of shifting around him, standing as people run at him and stuff. And it's well choreographed and all that stuff. It's a good scene. It's just there are certain times where things feel like they don't have weight or impact, or someone's movement is really unnatural. The Red Guardian gets up behind him and tries to throw something at him, and it's I can tell that's a CG double, and it just seems like that could have used a little more time in the oven. I don't necessarily think it's the VFX
was this
artist's
film
fault.
rushed or anything like that? Did they have problems or anything with this? Because I don't think they did.
No, not really. It was, and production was delayed because of the strikes in Hollywood and all that stuff. And so there was
Florence Pugh was like the main publicity machine. She kept posting stuff on social media every other day of shooting.
Yeah. I think that there's a argument to be made that they were delayed, but I think they also pushed back the release date, so it wasn't like their time to do post-production got shortened.
Okay.
But also, $180 million budget. They may have just said
which is
let's just call it done.
Which is less than Snow White.
What isn't?
Speaking of, we got money back from Disney because of them.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they renegotiated.
That's funny.
So generally, they paid us for playing Snow White.
Take that, monkeys in suits on trampoline. Oh goodness. We're recording this on Thursday night. There are no numbers in yet about how this is doing. But I think the audience in our theaters seemed to be having fun. They were laughing.
Yeah, people were laughing and having a good time, and seemed to be a good amount of people in the showing that we were in.
Yeah.
So that's. I know there is a solid looking at our numbers about 30 per show.
Okay.
Right now, and that's about on par for us right now because a lot of people here just don't buy tickets online.
Right.
We do a lot of walk up.
Yeah.
But except for something really Minecraft advanced sales were through the roof.
Yeah.
And we knew we were in trouble as soon as because we saw that every day I would check that and just it went up and up and up and up and up. And I was like, okay. And then Sinners. That film is just an anomaly to me in a good way.
Yeah.
That, I check it and we have 6 advanced sales, and then you look at when the start time of that film is and it's at 106. I was like, where did all these people come from? I'm like, I'm happy, and then thank you for choosing Grand Avenue. I really do appreciate that. And
they heard the music and they gathered.
I just think that well, now that I got them, we've had a lot of technical problems here this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the kitchen printer went down, and then the music in the lobby went down.
Oh, right.
And
did you try turning it off and turning it on again?
No, I actually had to get on the phone with the company and have them ping the box, and it kind of like jump started it.
Gotcha. Well, I tried nothing, and I'm all out of ideas.
Everything's fixed.
Alrighty, you want to get into the news?
Yeah, let's do news.
Let's talk the news. All right. In life, Andy, there are very important questions we must ask. And Joe Blow, which is where I normally grab all the news from for this show, has asked what I think is probably, and this is only 3 hours ago, but a question that we should have been asking for a long time.
3 bags full?
What?
Remember that you mentioned the Hugh Jackman, the 3 bags full movie at one point, and I saw stuff for it in Vegas.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
No, but good reference to the conversation I had forgotten we had. No, this question that I think we should be asking is, how many eggs does Tom Cruise eat before hanging off the side of a plane?
6?
Apparently, he eats almost a dozen eggs and bacon and toast and coffee and fluids.
Jesus.
Now,
and he throws them all up afterwards.
I have a question. What do you think he means by and fluids? Because he mentioned coffee, so he's talking about something else. Is it the blood of children?
Well, Scientology.
I mean, exactly. Like, is this an adrenochrome thing? What is it that we're talking here? Or, like, is he just, why do you have to say fluids? Is it an IV? It's weird.
Is it like liquid IV?
Is it liquid IV? Are you drinking, is it like, I have coffee and then I do 16 Red Bulls. That way, if I fall off the plane, I have wings,
That's too much energy drink for one person.
Just a weird one. Anyway. Okay. Jeremy Renner, he has explained why Hawkeye Season 2 will not happen. He said, I told them to go fly a kite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So basically,
I'm sure Haley Stansville is cussing him out right now.
Maybe, but I think she's getting she'll probably be in the Avengers Doomsday thing and all that stuff. But in a recent interview with High Performance, he said that they offered him half of his salary from the first season. So he said, they asked me to do season 2 and they offered me half the money. I'm like, well, it's going to take me twice the amount of work for half the amount of money and 8 months of my time essentially to do it for half the amount. I'm like, I'm sorry? Why? Do you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over? Maybe that's why you want to pay me half of what I made on the first season.
That is kind of insulting. I don't blame him. Good for him.
Yeah. And he continued, this is not Marvel, mind you. This is just like Disney. Not even really Disney. It's just the penny pinchers, the accountants. I told him to go fly a kite. I mean, just at the insult offer. So we didn't see an eye to eye on it.
I'm kind of hoping he shows up in 28 years later because he was in 28 weeks later.
I had no idea. Still need to go see those this week at home. But he said, sadly, I still love the character. I'd still love to do it, but I had to defend myself. I didn't ask for any more money, mind you. Just pay me what I made the first season.
Well, he's got that series on Paramount that he's been doing too.
How to get run over by a snowblower and survive?
No, the mayor of.
Oh, right, yeah.
I can't remember the town name, but
it's not Easttown, because Mayor of Easttown is a different thing that stars Kate Winslet, which was very good. If you haven't seen that,
the HBO one,
yeah. Oh, dude, so good.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fell in love with Kate Winslet in that show.
There is a film on Hulu right now too that's based on a true story about a war photographer called, I want to say Kate, but no, it's Lee. It's on Netflix now. It had a short theatrical run.
Okay,
and it's on my list that I really want to see it.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you get to see that because you won't be getting to see Hawkeye Season 2 unless someone coughs up a couple extra pennies.
Thanks, Disney.
I have good news for you, though.
Okay.
Sinners is going to be re-released in IMAX 70mm.
Yeah, the closest for us is going to be Dallas.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I'm surprised that San Antonio was not, because San Antonio has a 70mm IMAX too.
Well, what are they showing right now?
I don't know.
What would they even have there?
I don't work for AMC anymore, so I don't care.
Okay, well, see, at the top of this episode, I I talked you up about knowing everything about movies, and here you are failing me in my hour of need.
That's different. It's a little different. That's going like specific theater, and I don't sit there and look at like AMC's listings for the entire state of Texas.
Are they showing Thunderbolts?
Probably.
Sinners is showing at 9:15 in IMAX, but I don't know if that's IMAX 70 millimeter or just regular IMAX.
Well, the one on the Riverwalk only has one IMAX screen. They can do digital as well as 70 millimeter.
Okay, gotcha. I would like to see it on film. Roadhouse. Did you see the remake of Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal?
No.
Apparently, enough people did. Yeah, Roadhouse 2 has been confirmed with Guy Ritchie at the helm and the helm.
I still don't have. Well, he's been using Jake Gyllenhaal a lot lately.
Sometimes you just find someone who you work well with, and it's like, let's just ride this train together, buddy, and get paid for it.
Because there was The Covenant. I'm pretty sure that was Jake Gyllenhaal.
Are you talking about the Old Covenant or the New Covenant that happened when Jesus was crucified on the cross?
There's a movie called The Covenant that Guy Ritchie made that's not a typical Guy Ritchie film, and it's really good.
Oh.
And Jake Gyllenhaal is the main guy in that.
Okay.
And then there's a movie called In the Gray that Lionsgate was supposed to release that Guy Ritchie made with Jake Gyllenhaal too, about con artists. And it completely has fallen off the radar and release schedules, and God knows what happened to that thing.
Now, is it possible that Guy Ritchie just ran out of time because he directs 9 movies a year?
Maybe. Well, but even 2 years ago in Vegas, like they showed it, like Lionsgate showed something for it at their presentation.
Oh, it was Lionsgate?
And then so God only knows what happened to it. It was taken out by Borderlands.
Just got Eli Roth
or no, like the most colossal blunder of the century that they made was switching positions with Ballerina and The Crow.
Oh my gosh, The Crow. I had blocked it out, Andy. Thanks for nothing. I had forgotten about The Crow. It's so bad. It's garbage.
We still need to watch the Brandon Lee one.
Yeah, I'd like to wipe my memory of The Crow. Again, I had. Thanks again for nothing. But oh my gosh, The Crow was so terrible.
I think that was our most hated film of last year.
I mean, Borderlands.
And we paid money to see that too. That was even worse.
I know. I can't believe we did that to ourselves.
I told you it was going to be bad.
I know, but somehow it was worse than I possibly could have imagined.
Yeah.
Because it was boring.
Yeah.
And also swinging for the fences in ways that's like, why'd you make that decision to go that hard? But also it's so bad. And like, the opera scene is like kind of okay, but also really falls flat in its execution somehow at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Anyway, Roadhouse 2, that's happening.
Yeah.
Netflix launches an Alfred Hitchcock screening series. The Hitchcock Collection begins streaming in June. So if you want to see some Alfred Hitchcock stuff on.
Did they say what titles they're doing?
So they are, Hitchcock films are coming to Netflix and the Paris Theater to honor the legacy of the director. So they're going to be showing
Vertigo. Well, you should.
Yeah.
Oh, Vertigo's a good one.
Vertigo, Rear Window, Frenzy, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Family Plot, Birdemic. Nope, sorry, The Birds. And a couple more. So yeah, Psycho is available now on Netflix in the U.S. Already, so you can watch that.
The Trouble with Harry should be one that they should. It's Hitchcock's comedy that he did with Shirley MacLaine, and I still strongly feel that that's where The Weekend at Bernie's got their inspiration from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, was that film. And it's an awesome Hitchcock film. It's not something typical that he did too, but if you have never seen it, go find that somewhere and watch it. It's a hilariously good film.
Can I tell you what is my greatest shame in life?
That you're not making G-Force 2?
Can I tell you what my second greatest shame in life is?
Not seeing as many movies as me?
It's not. It's let's narrow it down just a little bit more. I've wanted, like, since I was 12, I've been interested in movies and being in movies or making movies or something.
Mine's even further than that.
Yeah, I love it. I love the act of filmmaking, the creation of it. I've never seen a single Hitchcock movie.
Really? Not even Psycho?
Nope.
There's some. You need to sit down and like see some of those.
Well, now I can. It's on Netflix.
Rear Window, definitely. That's a good one. Frenzy's a good one.
Jimmy Stewart. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking out the window and his foot's broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's looking out there and he's like, I think I saw a murder.
Well, and that's what you've seen the teeny bopper version of that, Disturbia.
This is a good movie. I watched it through my back window. No, there's a TV across the road, see, and I grabbed my telescope and I watched it and Rihanna's not in it at all. I was shocked, I tell you. Just absolutely flabbergasted.
I just remember when early teens in Pittsburgh, like the Chatham Theater had a Hitchcock series revitalization, and I went to see like every one of them.
Yeah.
And it was cool just to see those movies on a big screen.
Yeah. I definitely would love to, finally sit down and watch them. It's one of those things where, and I do this to myself all the time, where I go, I want to see that, but I want to give it my full attention, and I always feel like I'm going in 19 different directions. Mm-hmm. And so I stop myself because I'm like, I'll just watch something I don't really have to pay attention to because I also have to edit. Or I also have to, go and do this and stuff. And I tricked myself. I've seen so much crap I don't care about, but none of the stuff I should watch. Anyway, the point is, I'm stupid, but Netflix finally did one thing that wasn't, and that's bringing Hitchcock to the masses. And I would like to do a Hitchcock series this summer, I think, and just, talk about some of the greats.
I definitely would be down for that.
And then maybe what I'll do is
films.
In order to really get it to be something I can get into, I'll call someone up on Fiverr and get them to edit G-Force characters into these movies, just in the background, not distracting from the story or whatever, but just, I want Nicolas Cage as a mole in every Hitchcock movie.
Probably the easiest one to do that would be Rope.
Rope?
Yeah.
Why would that be easy?
It's the lesser known Hitchcock film I really like.
Okay, yeah. I need to see it. I've studied Hitchcock's scenes. Like I've watched individual scenes and watched breakdowns of them and all that stuff. I've just never actually sat down and watched.
In college, I taught the section for film 2 when I got into the later years of college. That was part of what I had to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've taught at a college. I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. What? I'm just kidding. It was a pretty good class.
Cool.
Conan the Barbarian. Robert Rodriguez reveals that Netflix let the rights lapse. So they were going to do a series and some movies based on Conan the Barbarian, but now they've let the rights lapse. And Rodriguez said,
it's probably a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, probably. So he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. He said Netflix had it. I went and pitched it to them, and then they let the rights lapse. Sometimes it's too much baggage for a character. Asked what he thought about the previous Conan adaptations, he said, no one has captured the spirit of Conan from the books yet.
That's not true. The Barbarian did. The second one that was done with Schwarzenegger, The Destroyer. I think the problem with that film is it went more almost family friendly.
Oh yeah,
and it doesn't work at all.
Well,
and it's the story to that is not good either.
If the complaint is that the Conan and the books like that has not been fully realized in the way that it should have been,
it's kind of hard to.
Well, I disagree. I think it was done perfectly in UHF with Conan the Librarian. Yeah. Don't you know the Dewey Decimal System?
And then that Jason Momoa one is just garbage because I was.
Wait,
just
he played Conan the Barbarian?
Yeah.
I thought he was a secondary character in that.
No. There's a Jason Momoa Conan film.
Huh.
That came out probably about 10 years ago now.
And what's worse, this Conan the Barbarian or the Barbarian? In your mind, which one is worse?
I hate both of them. So.
I know, but you got to choose. You're stuck on a desert island, right? You're going to be stuck with one movie you hate. Which one do you hate less?
Probably the Jason Momoa Conan.
Okay, so you'd rather watch that?
Yeah.
Huh. Why do people love Barbarian so much, but you hate it?
I didn't like it. I thought it was stupid.
Okay. I think that's valid. And sometimes stuff is stupid.
Handing Resident Evil over to that director too, I'm already cringing at what it's going to turn out to be.
Yeah.
Not happy with that.
I'm cautiously optimistic about everything, as is a curse. It's I want to see movies succeed. I always do. But I also, if they're going to fail, I want to see them fail in such spectacular fashion that I feel the need to yell about it because it's fun.
Yeah, like Raccoon City did.
Yeah. Or like, what's a movie that we talked about that I really screamed about on this show?
There's a bunch. And I think my list is just as big as yours. Like,
there was some movie where I can't remember which one it was, but I remember sitting here going on a long diatribe, and at a certain point,
no evil.
You looked at me and you just, yes, that's what it was. And I just looked in your eyes and I saw you go, I don't, like back there in your mind, I could see the words, I don't know if he's going to make it.
Goodness, one of the films we reviewed earlier this year is now on Max. That's definitely, if you didn't see it in the theaters, which you probably didn't, Companion.
Yeah, Companion's good.
I had Jessica watch that because she didn't get to see it with us because she was sick that night. She loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool movie.
It does have what I consider to be the gayest moment in movie history.
Yeah.
And it made me laugh really, really hard. Well, Final Destination. There's a new one coming. Bloodlines.
Yeah.
The first reactions say the film is a creative, blood-drenched, and beautiful tribute to Tony Todd, according to Joe Blow.
Yeah, but I kind of told you that that's what it was going to be.
Okay, according to Andy Delia for Joe Blow. Yeah, apparently...
I figured it would be just because it's the last thing that Tony Todd did before he passed.
Yeah, and I think that the feedback is basically like, you're going to have a good time watching people die horribly. And that's what those movies are really all about. You know, is like how can death make someone die? And you'd think that'd be a pretty straightforward answer, but it's very complicated and involves water bottles under brake pedals and all kinds of stuff.
We already have tickets up for sale here, and that's going to be our movie that week.
Okay, cool. Well, I look forward to not knowing any of the references to old bloodlines in this movie.
I haven't seen every one of the Final Day. I've only seen like a couple of them.
Yeah, I've seen most of two of them, but also
I saw the first one.
I fell asleep during both because it was a sleepover, and I woke up and they started the second one, and then I fell asleep during that one too.
And then I don't think I saw the second one. I saw the one with the roller coaster. I think that was 3. And then I saw the one that was at the racetrack. And I think that was.
I remember that one coming out.
Final Destination. I think so. I think that was 5. That was the last one.
I remember seeing the trailer for that one and being like, "That looks awful. Why would anyone want to watch this? I'm gonna go watch VeggieTales." But I was like 14, so at that point, I really should have been moved to. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Honestly, to go see any of those films, you really didn't need to see the one before it.
Yeah, because it's a different group of people each time, right? Unless Freddie Prinze Jr. shows up and is like, "Oops, wrong franchise."
That'd be funny, actually.
I actually would love for like the big reveal to be that they brought back a character from a previous movie of a wrong franchise, and they walk in and they go, "I have no idea what any of this is. I dealt with this thing."
And the trailer for that, I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot just looks bad.
So bad.
But it'll probably do well.
Yeah, I mean, people are dumb.
It just looks horrible.
A Minecraft movie is like the biggest movie of the year. So
yeah, what does that say?
That we're slowly giving up anything that resembles media literacy and the ability to make conscious, informed decisions about how to get our children to engage with things that actually are uplifting to them and are not just mindless entertainment.
Okay.
Or, funny blocks. Death of a Unicorn has now been given a digital release, so you can rent it for $19.99 or buy it for $24.99.
Yeah, no, wait till it hits streaming.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Like, I want to see this mostly because of Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
but
I missed it when we had it here because that was the week I went to Vegas.
Yeah. And so I missed it while it was here because that was the week I was sick as a dog.
And actually, it didn't do that bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know how much it had done, but. The Accountant 2. Sorry, yep. Accountant Squared. You let the record show Andy pretended to throw his phone at me, but did not, meaning it was only assault and not battery, because assault is the threat of danger. Battery is the actual impact.
Seriously, get over the squared thing.
No, please. It's squared. It's a math pun. That's why they did it. It's not my fault. So, would you want to bring back Anna Kendrick's character for The Accountant 3?
Yeah.
Okay, because Gavin O'Connor agrees with you.
Cool.
And I actually am totally down for seeing An Accountant 3. I like it.
I kind of like, even for as much as we like the second one, I really hoped that I thought it was missing something with her not being there.
A little bit, yeah. And like I said, I'm sorry, but the cop lady is just not. She doesn't. And it's not her fault. I don't think. It's just the dialogue and the story is so cheesy with her.
I could almost set up the third story. She gets killed and they go after whoever murdered her.
I'd be okay with that.
Please let me in on the script reading. I want credit right now.
You know what? Just make The Accountant 2 again. Same story, but now she's the one looking for this missing lady. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, but they did not write that character well. It's so first script, ever written kind of storytelling.
I think it was solely too just because Ben Affleck wanted her in the second one too.
I mean, I'm sure she's very wonderful to work with. I'm not, it is not the actress that I'm like. Brr. It's the
character itself.
It's I can't find a chair I like. And maybe it's because I didn't earn it. And
that was really the only parts of that second movie I didn't like.
And then at the end, she goes into the room and I looked over at Hannah because they have her. You're looking through the window into the room. They have her on the left. They have the chair on the right. And I was like, she's going to look at that chair and be like, this is the chair I want. And lo and behold, that's what she does. But it was a crime boss's chair. You shouldn't take that. It's got the blood of many trafficked children all over it. Anyway, Anna Kendrick coming back for that totally would be cool with that. Yeah. Love it.
Cool.
Ben Affleck, though, who was in The Accountant, as I've heard it called, he says that the best work of his entire career is the commentary he did on Armageddon. The one where he tells the story about how he asked the director, Michael Bay, he asked him, why would they train drillers to be astronauts? Why not just train the astronauts to drill? And he said, Michael turned to me and he goes, shut up.
I've never seen Armageddon.
Have you really not?
No.
Okay, yeah, it's dumb. But
that's what I figured.
But I would want to watch Ben Affleck talking about it, like his commentary track, because I've heard little snippets of it. And I'm just like, this is great stuff. Well, he's bashing the movie. He's like, this is dumb. I don't understand
Michael Bay alone is got to be like worth.
Right? Yeah. No, you don't want to run into him in a dark alley. That's for sure.
Especially because his whole thing for making Pain and Gain was, oh well, nobody thinks I can make a movie under $200 million.
Well, you can. That doesn't mean you should.
Pain and Gain is awful.
Also, maybe don't make the movies that you're making for over $200 million because The Last Night was dreadful.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Thanks for bringing that up. Now that's Revenge for the Crow, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Take that. How do you like that? This is an old man running around with a robot butler. Why does he have a robot butler? I don't know. You don't know. Were they in World War II and did they kill Hitler? Probably. Bumblebee was there, but he doesn't remember it, I guess. He talks through a radio. What is that?
I still don't have much hope for the Sydney Sweeney thing that she's doing with him.
The Outrun movie?
Yeah.
Look, I will say this. Michael Bay knows how to move a camera in an interesting way. Not the right way.
So do a lot of directors.
Yes, not the right way, but interesting.
Okay.
Drop has already gotten a digital release.
Yeah.
You saw that, said it was all
right?
I did.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
I figured it out.
It is.
And you can't really take me on that because I've seen so many of these films that there are certain rules that you kind of go by.
Yeah.
And I followed the one rule and I was right. And Jessica just looked at me because I had to figure it out. And I told her, because she's like, no, it's this person. I'm like,
Yeah.
It's that person right there.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, when it was revealed, she just glared at me. But
it's the most famous person, isn't it?
No.
Oh, it's not that.
No, a little bit different rules, but Drew was on the edge of his seat for that film. He loved it.
That's great. I'm glad that he's getting the kind of experience these different things.
It was probably one of the better Blumhouse films that I've seen in a while too, and it wasn't bad. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
The two main people in that were good. Yeah, it's not a horrible film.
Well, I think I'm going to give it a try because it's on Prime Video now. So
yeah, but you got to pay.
Oh, you have to pay?
Yeah, it's one of those like $19 to rent, $25 to buy.
It's a digital release, not going to streaming. Well, never mind. I don't care that much.
It'll be on Peacock in a couple weeks.
So Ian McDiarmid, who played the Chancellor Palpatine, who is in episode 3, which this is why I wanted to loop back around to this.
Okay.
He gives both the best and the worst performance I've ever seen in my life. There are all these moments, like that scene where he's talking to Anakin about, it's not a story you would hear from the Jedi, and his monologue there about the knowledge of the dark side is a path to many things some would consider to be unnatural. Like, it's such a good performance and stuff. But then, and then when he's being attacked by Mace Windu and he's electrocuting himself basically and trying to manipulate Anakin, I never saw it or realized this when I watched it at home on a smaller screen, but on the big screen, I saw him like, I can't hold it any longer, and then he does these little looks over to Anakin like, is it working? And it's great, and you're totally buying his manipulation in that moment. But then there's the moment where Mace Windu's hand gets cut off and his mouth makes this oval shape, and it's like he's smiling, but also his mouth is open wide like he unhinged his jaw like a snake, and then he goes, "No, you have lost unlimited power." It's so dumb looking.
I think that makeup job was bad.
No, it's great. No, listen. It's bad on purpose.
Okay.
It's stage makeup.
Yeah, but it doesn't even look right for like all what he had gone through to get to that point. In my opinion, it should have looked more grotesque.
Yeah, but it's a movie for kids.
Not really.
It is though. Like, that's how George Lucas. That's why Jar Jar was.
That third one is really not meant for kids because you get hands and legs getting chopped off.
Yeah, but there's no blood.
It doesn't matter.
And you like even when
Anakin's just incinerated.
Oh, he just looks a little crispy.
A little.
he's a cute little chicken nugget who just got left in the air fryer a little long.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. No, I loved every moment of watching that in the theater again. It was like, there are just certain things that you feel like you're only going to experience once in a lifetime. And being 9 years old, seeing a Star Wars movie in theaters when I had like obsessed over the other ones with my brother and my cousins, and getting to see all that and appreciate it, and also just like being caught up in the emotion of it again in a way that I didn't always get when I rewatched it at home. It was such an experience.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people should up for that too.
Yeah. And
we were told that it's a good thing that Disney only had a 6-day run for it, or we would have had to hold on to that for another week. I'm almost kind of like, I wish we could have.
Yeah. Because I would go watch it again. That opening sequence in space, and then when they jump onto the ship, and the whole thing where they save the Chancellor is just like so ingrained into my memory. And watching this big long one take and knowing like, oh, that little piece of trash that flies over and hits that ship, I know that's a kitchen sink. Like,
or that whole sequence too where Order 66 is enacted.
Tragic.
Yeah.
So heartbreaking. And so much of the movie around it is ridiculous, but it still totally sells. And maybe I'm blinded by childhood nostalgia, but there's just something about that movie. Legitimately, the moment where they are on Mustafar battling, and I love the fact that they had to be told to slow down because they'd practiced that fight so much that they were doing it. When they filmed it, they told them, slow down. It looks like the footage is sped up.
Right.
Like, insane amounts of practice went into that. But there's this shot where they both grab each other's hands as they're trying to bring lightsabers down on each other, and the volcano erupts behind them. Yeah. And I think it's one of the best looking shots in movies ever.
Lucas definitely had a knack for doing those things.
He has it's such a weird mix of being a great visual director and these scenes that work, but also he's a terrible director. Like, he can't direct, and he casts the wrong people all the time, and he's so bad at that. But also, somehow it works. It's like, I don't want to say it's kitsch, because I don't think that qualifies as kitsch necessarily, but it is this weird, like, if a high school, drama crew had an unlimited budget and just a couple people who really like sold every minute of it, and then everyone else is trying their best. It's just charming.
I still love the sequence where Yoda walks into where the Emperor is at that point, and he throws the 2 guards against.
Yeah, they just crumple, and it's like they didn't even hit that hard. Did he snap their necks? I don't know.
Or that whole fight scene in the Galactic Senate with the 2 of them too.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of great sequences in that just look, like you said, just look really good, even with the movie being as 20 years old.
Yeah.
Just still looks really good.
There's and like it has kind of this like plastic sheen to a lot of the VFX and stuff, but it's so much part of the identity of the movie too,
and
that
it's not annoying.
No, it just feels like fantasy,
right?
And it totally works. So people were real mad when the Palpatine character came back in Rise of Skywalker, and Ian McDiarmid has talked about it. This is the news I was getting to.
Oh, okay.
Well, he was speaking with Variety, and he addressed the backlash. He said, well, there's always something, isn't there? I don't read that stuff, and I'm not online, so it'll only reach me if someone mentions it. I thought there might be a bit of fuss about bringing him back, but as I said, mine and Palpatine's logic was entirely reasonable. This man was horribly maimed. Thought maybe one day it might happen. I'm sorry. This man who was horribly maimed thought maybe one day it might happen to him, and we've always got a plan B. I love the whole idea that he should come back and be even more powerful than he was before, though this time he had to be utterly destroyed. So I think he's dead.
Didn't the real actor pass away recently too?
Ian McDiarmid?
Yeah.
No, this is him speaking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so...
Because I was going through like the list of how many people have passed away since that film came out, because Kenny Baker did, Peter Mayhew.
Yeah.
And, of course, the wonderful Christopher Lee.
Yes, yeah.
Who at 90 years old released a metal album.
Did you ever see a movie he was in called The Stupids?
No.
Okay.
Because that's Tom Arnold, and I just refuse.
Okay. This is my wife's family's, like, their movie. It's like their family movie that they go back and rewatch. They know it's bad.
Okay.
It's awful. But Christopher Lee plays the villain in this he's not even really there. Like, the family makes him up because Tom Arnold works as a mailman, and they concoct this whole conspiracy about a man named Sender, because he keeps getting letters that say "Return to Sender," and it is incredibly stupid. The whole movie is nonsense, but it has some crazy slapstick stuff, and it's like one of those movies where you could sit and laugh at it, not so much with it.
Okay.
Christopher Lee has this whole thing in there that I can't do it justice, but he's just incredible no matter what he's in, even when it's really bad.
I just remember the trailer that came out for that, and it was this song that Tom Arnold was singing, that I'm my own grandpa, and I was like, no, there's no way I'm watching this film. Never.
That was around before that movie, though, right? Like, that's an old thing.
I don't know, but seeing that trailer just made me absolutely never want to see it.
It's one of those things that I would recommend to you if you're sitting there going, I want to be challenged right now to see if I can get through a whole movie. It's one of those.
You already did that to me.
But at the same time, yeah, sorry, that was not on purpose though. But the movie is one of those things that, like, yeah, it's kind of become a family tradition now. Like, we all sit down and watch it together just to laugh at how dumb it is.
Okay.
And so, like, it's one of those movies. It is literally called The Stupids, though. So.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, he also said that when he was revealed that Daisy Ridley Rey was Palpatine's granddaughter, he was thrilled by it, although he was never entirely sure how the Sith Lord had any children. He said there was never any discussion of that. It was up to me to work it out in my head. There was talk in The Phantom Menace about something called midichlorians, which were involved somehow in Anakin's birth. George didn't want to go too deeply into that, but we reckon it was kind of a virgin birth. Though one ought not to say that, because God knows you get all sorts of complications. Then people ask the slightly embarrassing question about, did this evil monster ever have sex? And we don't really know the answer to that question either. Things in tubes you think about probably rather than the awful vision that you might have in your head of this monster ever having a sexual relationship with anybody. So it basically is like, we don't know if he did the dirty,
Yikes.
but just imagine things in tubes instead, and that's how he had kids. It's
I'd
quote unquote
not.
children. It's his midichlorians in some sort of clone body that And then that clone, who wasn't an old decrepit man who had been electrocuted by himself as part of a plot to overthrow the galaxy, and didn't have what I can only describe as a butt forehead after that. The clone of him had kids, I guess. Maybe he was a better looking young man. I don't know.
It just sounds like Scientology to me.
How many Ian McDiarmid clones does Tom Cruise eat before falling off of a plane?
6.
Oh, goodness. All right. I have good news to end us on, Andy.
Okay.
Great news, in fact.
Okay.
Coyote versus Acme is actually getting a release.
Yeah,
And
I knew that.
This was announced during the time that we were on our unplanned hiatus.
Yeah.
And I forgot to bring it up when we came back. But yeah, this is so exciting for me. It's being done by Ketchup Entertainment. And if we did mention this before on the podcast, I'm mentioning it again because I'm excited. I want to see this movie. I love the whole Coyote
Will Forte
thing.
is just really like pushing this film too.
Yeah, you might say that promoting this film is his forte. So
yeah, okay.
So yeah, he recently expressed how surprised he is that everything came together. He said, "I never thought it would happen." So it just came out of nowhere, and I'm so thrilled. Thank you, Ketchup Entertainment. I'm so excited for people to see this movie. I'm going to promote the crap out of it. Just tell me what you want me to do, and I'll go. I'll do whatever. I'll go to the Mount of Top Everest. I'm there.
Hopefully it does better than the day the Earth blew up.
Yeah.
That didn't do anything.
Well,
Warner Brothers
it blew up in Warner Brothers' face.
Well, no.
Well,
because Warner Brothers sold
face?
it. Yeah.
Was it Ketchup Entertainment?
Yep.
Huh. Well, I hope Coyote versus Acme is better than that.
We'll probably get it here because we played the day the Earth blew up.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, we've covered all the interesting news from this week, I think. Thunderbolts is good. Remember, if you're listening on Spotify, you too can vote. Let us know what you thought about the movie, good, bad, great, or terrible. Those are the only 4 options. If you try to do a write-in, it better be for how handsome you think Andy is. That's
a lie, and I know that for a fact.
Hey, you can be a handsome fella and own it, man.
Okay.
You got the classy, the mustache that goes down into the beard.
That I'm looking
it's
like
great.
an old man now.
No. It's distinguished.
Okay.
It's distinguished.
So
just you get distinguished around the time that your energy gets extinguished. So it's
Got
a trade-off, but you do look regal.
Thank you. So, a couple Lilo and Stitch live action runtime 1 hour and 48 minutes just got revealed. Tickets go on sale, I think, in a week.
Okay.
And then I know it's going to be about the same time that How to Train Your Dragon tickets go on sale. That is 125 minutes. Didn't seem that long when I watched it because the pacing on that was just really good.
Because that's two full hours. So
yeah. I think credits have to start at probably like an hour 55 or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And then I saw today Ballerina's runtime is an hour 55.
Okay.
And
that's good. That there's enough time for her to kill people in that. I like it.
And then I don't know if you've read this, but there is going to be a John Wick 5. Lionsgate has, and they said that the ending to the 4th one was a lie. So that's how they're bringing it back because the 4th one is
because he said I can't do anymore. My body won't let me. And then they came and said, "All right, we'll give you not only this giant bag of gold and diamonds, we'll also pay for the back surgery on top of that." And he went, "I'm thinking I'm back."
Well, because the ending of 4 is his death.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this is a good way to end it because I really did like the 4th film. Mm-hmm. But knowing that there's going to be, I just kind of roll my eyes immediately until probably I see that first trailer and go, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, it's really good gunplay. It's good stunt work.
And Ballerina should not disappoint either. That's just looking fantastic.
I'm so excited for. Also, I mentioned this to Hannah. I don't know if I ever mentioned it on the show, but in the trailer they show the guy with the flamethrower and she comes out with the water hose.
Yeah,
that's real. That's how that works. You can do that.
Len Wiseman, who's the director on that, is the guy that made the original Underworld.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I always thought that was a really cool film.
The thing is, though, I think, didn't the director of the original John Wick come in and do a bunch of reshoots because Glenn Wiseman's stuff on it was not? Or is it Glenn Wiseman the one who...
Len Wiseman,
sorry. Yeah, there was something about the director of the John Wick movies came in and was like, this is not up to our standards. I have to go fix it.
Don't know.
Maybe I'm making that
well, because
up.
we talked about like it was supposed to come out last summer.
Yeah.
And they switched it with The Crow.
The what?
The Crow.
Oh, God, no!
But I can't imagine like what I think they made this whole play about, well, it wasn't finished, it wasn't done, we needed to make it more. I think that's all a smokescreen by the studio that they just decided to wait and release it at a better time than last summer.
Was there anything going on during the time The Crow came out? I don't think there was much competition.
Because that was August. Yeah. I know in Vegas when they were talking, Anna Damaris was talking about there's a plate sequence in this Bavarian like bar, and it's breakaway plates, and she was explaining that you touch those things and they fall apart.
Yeah.
So trying to do that scene, and it's really, they showed us the scene and it's really funny.
Yeah.
But it's also, extremely violent and saying how hard it was to do that, and like there was multiple takes on it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Breakaways, I've always wanted to do stuff with it, but it's actually really expensive to make those and get them. And you can make them yourself, but it's still super, super touchy, and like it's really difficult to do. So,
and then the other film that comes out that weekend too that I would love to play here, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, is The Phoenician Scheme, Wes Anderson's new film.
Yeah.
I really like Wes Anderson. My wife Jessica will disagree with me because I've dragged her to like every film and she absolutely hates them because she didn't like Isle of Dogs. She didn't like Asteroid City, and Asteroid City I thought was just brilliant.
Those are the two I haven't seen.
Isle of Dogs I think is great.
Okay, yeah, I know people really love that. I do like. It's not the Grand Marriott Hotel.
The Grand Budapest.
The Grand Budapest.
Hotel.
Yeah, I love that movie. I thought that was really
Moonrise Kingdom. Another one. And he's native to Austin, so
that's right. Yeah,
that's
I keep forgetting about that.
I'm hoping that we can lure people away from Austin a little bit to come up to Bilton to watch that film.
Well, if we burn down all the theaters in Austin, then they'll have no choice.
Oh, and I like the French Dispatch, the last one he did too. I really enjoyed that.
I haven't seen that one either. Maybe I haven't seen a lot of stuff. I'm starting to think that might be true.
It all revolves these different stories around a magazine.
Okay.
And it's all like these crazy Wes Anderson stories is the best way to describe it. But Phoenician Scheme looks, the same vein. He is a master of what he does in his own style of filmmaking. And I just think it looks great. But that's going to be Ballerina's competition that week. And I don't really think it's competition, just counter programming.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, that's it for the Grand Review After Dark.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. If you didn't,
please.
You're not hearing this right now. So, but thank you so much for listening and for joining us. We hope that this is a bright spot in your week, and that when you get to listen to this. So, I guess with that means there's only the one thing left to say, and that is
we'll see you at the movies.
Bye.
Bye.